Welcome to Screen Weens, where we only watch really, really sad movies.
7-hour black and white foreign films.
I was telling my coworkers what I was watching, and they thought I was lying. They thought I was, making up something. I'm like, no, it's real.
Yeah, no.
Because it sounds like something I would make up, though.
Yeah, no, it sounds like one of those just oh yeah, pull out your ass. Kind of oh yeah, one of those type movies that, to people who only watch, mainstream Hollywood movies, they'd be like, wait, those actually exist?
Yeah.
But,
and I mean, I will say that there aren't a ton of movies that are 7 hours.
No.
But they exist. Yeah. There's quite a few. I feel like I have 5 or 6 on my watch list. Yeah.
No. There's definitely a few of them out there that exist. But, yeah.
Before we jump into Sátántangó, which I think that's how you pronounce it.
Probably.
Because they specifically say it's Satan's Tango. That's the... I'm like, oh, okay, Sátántangó. Mm-hmm. And I was like... Also, my cat is very loud now. I remember the first week we had her, she was all, scared and timid. Now she's like... I'm I'm trying to give you attention. I gotta go record a podcast real quick. I'll be back soon. But yeah, before we get into Sátántangó, let's talk about news. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about things we've done. Yeah. Alejandro Jodorowsky's son died.
Aww.
Yeah. He's the main character in Santa Sangre, which I don't think you've watched yet, but you should. It's very, very good.
I know. He's the little boy in El Topo, right?
Maybe. He had multiple kids, and multiple of them were in movies.
Oh, okay.
Let me double check them. No, not that one.
Okay. Yeah, that's sad, though.
Let's see. Is there any other big news in the world of movies? Avatar's getting its re-release next week. I'm going to go see it in theaters.
Nice.
And I'm I haven't seen Avatar since probably 2010. I wonder what it'll be like for me now. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. That's okay.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I'm seeing it in 3D, as it was intended.
Of course.
Let's see. So we took a week off because last Sunday I just wasn't... My stomach was hurting. I was kind of coughing. I'm like, maybe I'm sick. Let's not risk it. But in the last 2 weeks, I've watched a lot of good stuff. I rewatched Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
Still very good. I still really like that movie. I watched the new live-action Pinocchio. The Robert Zemeckis one with Tom Hanks.
It was great, right?
It was fucking awful. I think it was worse than Morbius.
Oh, whoa.
Because Morbius I at least got a chuckle out of. Pinocchio is just distraught the entire time.
Yeah.
But that same day I also watched Barbarian, which is a new horror movie in theaters.
Pretty good things about that one.
It's really good. And it's really good, it's a really good first watch. It's it's a fun ride of a movie.
Yeah, I've been hearing great things about that and Pearl.
I watched Pearl.
Because that's connected to X, which
also
it's came out this year?
Yeah. He finished X, and he's like, what if I just do another one? And they're immediately about to start filming the third movie, which is going to come out in another 6 or 7 months. Okay. I thought Pearl was good. I thought X was good. I don't think either are great.
Yeah.
Ty West, that director, I feel like most of the time that I've watched his movies, I'm like, these are fine. Mm-hmm. Very like a journeyman for me. They're consistently good, but I wouldn't ever say that they're great. I don't know if I want to rewatch any of them. I might rewatch Pearl and X when the third one comes out, to watch them all at the same time. Mm-hmm. But they're fine. Mm-hmm. I rewatched Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, which is the South Korean found footage movie.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that one. I almost watched it at one point.
I think it's a little worse than I remember, but it's fun. It's goofy, but it's it's fun, and I like the character interactions, and I like found footage movies where people are just we're gonna go capture a ghost, and then everything goes horribly wrong. It's fun. It's a fun little thing. Mm-hmm. I rewatched Babylon AD, which is a Vin Diesel, dystopian future movie that came out in the late 2000s that I remember thinking was kick-ass when I was 11. It's kind of bad.
What?
Yeah. I really like Vin Diesel in it. Michelle Yeoh's in it.
Okay.
but like it's paced really badly, and even like the main structure is just like really bizarre because they don't like answer a lot of the questions they like put out. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? There's a couple cool action sequences, and it wasn't like terrible, but it's kind of bad. I finally got around to watching that new Charlie Day rom-com with Jenny Slate.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
I actually thought it was pretty great. Like, I like the rom-com. You know, I think it's a fun little thing. It's a nice watch. I thought it was very funny, and also it towed the line between funny and extremely cringe very well.
I see.
Which, you know, things with Charlie Day. I think Always Sunny is always on that line.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I thought it was good. I liked it. I rewatched Strings. I don't think you watched that one, but we watched it for one of our weekly movie things. I just don't think you were there that day, or you got here later.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar.
It's a puppet movie where, like, it's puppets on strings, and the strings are, like, in universe. Like, they're there, and their soul is connected to their, like, head string. It's a beautiful movie. I love it so much.
You must have described it or something. That sounds vaguely like familiar. I feel like I remember like somebody like cutting a string or something.
Maybe you did watch it. Well, maybe. I can check. Hold on.
Yeah, you can. You did keep accurate logs of who was at every movie Monday.
You did not.
Okay, yeah, you must have described it or something.
Yeah, Joe probably talked about it. I remember Lucero also really liking it. People probably just talked about it. But I think it's fantastic. Really, really cool world building. And I like the central story a lot. And then I watched Clerks for the first time.
Oh, yeah. You probably did not.
No, I did not.
You would probably dislike the sequel.
Oh, I watched Clerks 2. I fucking hated Clerks 2.
Yeah, the trailer for the third one does not look...
Well, I watched... because I'm like, Clerks 3 is in theaters right now. And it's only playing like one showing a day at like 7 p.m. I'm like, I want to go watch Clerks 3. And now I'm like, I really don't want to watch Clerks 3. Clerks 1, I think, like, I get it, but... And I know, like, people are like, oh, I love that movie because, you know, and then they feel real, like real conversations between people. But I think now that we've watched, like, a bunch of Jim Jarmusch and, like, I like Mumblecore and, you know, like, Linklater. It's like, at this point, I'm like, this is not realistic. And it's also just really annoying. Like, a lot of, and I get, like, that might be fun, but the two main characters are just, like, the worst. Yeah. And I get that might be the point, but it's... They're also not fun to watch.
Yeah, I still think I'd probably like the first one. It's been probably like 2 years since I last watched it, so not too long.
I didn't hate the first one. I get why people would like it, and there are parts I like, and I do think some of it feels genuine. I think like Kevin Smith, it feels like he worked at a convenience store like that. Clerks 2, I don't think that feeling isn't there anymore.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
That slur joke in the second one.
No,
really, really rough.
Yeah,
like really bad.
Yeah, no, I know.
And it's not even that it's horribly offensive, but it's also just really not fun.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's just, I'm like, am I just becoming a Kevin Smith hater? Because before this, I'm like, I remember liking Dogma. And
Dogma is okay.
Yeah, I feel like if I rewatch Dogma, I probably wouldn't like it either.
Probably not. I rewatched that one not very long ago, and that one's all right. It's definitely it borders this weird because it's like trying to tell this like really like legit like kind of like epic religious story, but it's also got Jay and Silent Bob in it and has poop jokes. And
I remember liking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I don't know if I'd like that either.
Yeah,
Tusks fucking sucks. I hate Tusks so much.
I haven't watched any of the like Clerks first movies in a very long time. They've released a couple.
I feel like I might like Mallrats.
I don't think if you don't like Clerks, you won't like Mallrats because it's a little cartoonier thing.
What's his name?
Jason Lee.
Jason. He's hot, and he's hot in Mallrats.
He is.
So at the very least, I can watch a hot version.
That is true.
God, of course, I say fucking Clerks. I'm like, hey guys, I just watched Clerks, and then Xy's immediately just like, yeah, you're in that movie. I'm like, God fucking damn it.
Oh, because
of Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the only thing you two have.
Yeah, I'm just like Jay.
Yeah.
We should be Jay and Silent Bob. I'll be Silent Bob.
There we go. Yeah, it's, I haven't watched a lot of them in a long time. I'm sure I would probably hate Chasing Amy now. That movie I'd probably find very annoying. Jay and Silent Bob I might still be able to like. It's very, like, meta and, like... But it's also got that same kind of sense of humor, so it's hard to tell if that would still stick with me.
And I'm like, I kind of want to rewatch these movies that I used to like to see if I still like them, but then I'm like, oh, I might have to wait a couple months because that Clerks 2 really took a lot out of me.
Yeah, I don't think Jay and Silent Bob or anything is as bad. Like, I think Clerks 2 is a lone example when it comes to, like, that specific Randall joke that they do in there. That's awful. And also... the needless shitting on Lord of the Rings. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
also, there's... he keeps talking about how he likes to pick up, like, teenagers that have just turned 18 or are 17 in it. I'm like...
Yeah.
Also, it ends with the bestiality scene. It's just like, what the fuck?
Kinky Kelly in the stud.
What? Why? I'm just like, I never want to have a conversation with Kevin Smith in my life.
That's fair. I mean, he's kind of...
I feel like he'd actually be, like, fine to talk to.
He seems like a nice guy, but, like... Yeah, his sense of humor is a little weird, and honestly, like, when it comes to, like, comic books and stuff, he seems to have a pretty, like... I know, like, a lot of people got mad at him because he did that Daredevil storyline where basically, like... He was like, oh, yeah, no, Mother Maggie is, like, 100% his, like... mother, where that's always been kind of ambiguous. So he kind of just like shoves in his own interpretations. And
I haven't read it all. It's only 4 issues, but he did the writing for the newer He-Man show. And they did a prequel comic, and I thought the comic was fine.
The show,
but probably because
wasn't it? Didn't you say it didn't like?
I don't think I even finished it because I was trying to watch it with Tina today. I liked it. I like He-Man, but I also like He-Man because He-Man as a big, like when it first started had absolutely no nuance, like whatsoever. So even Kevin Smith writing this, there's a little bit of nuance. So it's like, fair. Wow,
that's fair. Yeah. But yeah, no, certainly some of the humor in Dragon Ball does not age well.
Yeah. Even the new like superhero movie, it's like Bulma. I'm just like, what the?
I mean, I'll take the shit that they're doing with Bulma now
that's
compared
not too
to the
bad.
shit that they're doing in like when her character's like 16 in the manga. It's like, oh my god, this is really bad.
My friend was just rewatching Dragon Ball with their partner or something.
Yeah, if you cut around that stuff, early Dragon Ball, still great, still funny. But there's a little too much of that humor sprinkled throughout, like, especially, like, that opening arc. So it's like, it definitely chills out a little bit as it goes along, but it's still present, so it's like, alright.
So yeah, Clerks was bad. Clerks 2 was way worse. Pearl was good. I watched a movie yesterday called Allison's Birthday, which is like a made-for-TV, low-budget Australian horror movie from the early 80s that I just randomly... I was talking to my coworker Allison on the phone about like something... Like I was texting her about like something to do with work. And as I was doing that, I saw somebody on my Letterboxd feed watch that movie. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this right now. And it was like an hour and a half. So I'm like, I'll just watch it right now.
Yeah.
So I did. Its budget is like very obvious in it. But it's fun. It's like a fun little like cult style movie. I like the lead okay. It has a lot of synth in it, and a lot of it does not fit, but it's kind of funny. And I really like the subtitles on Tubi because every time, like the first time, it's like haunting synth music, and then like 2 minutes later, it's like adventurous synth music. I'm like, okay.
Wonderful.
But that was pretty fun. Not anything to like write home about, but it was fun enough. There's a new Netflix original movie called Do Revenge. Maya Hawke is in it. And Camila Mendez, who's in Riverdale, is in it. And it was pretty good. It was fun. It was all about like people at this like really prestigious like prep school getting revenge on people that have done them wrong, pretty much. And it was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. It was funny. It was like, you know how Bodies, I said, was very cringe in its satire of Gen Z. This was like, also did a pretty good job of like being satirical towards like Gen Z while not making me want to fucking throw up.
I see.
But yeah, I like that one. And then I watched See How They Run, which is a new like noir movie set in like 1950s London. Sam Rockwell's in it, Saoirse Ronan, and Adrian Brody.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's heard of it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I watched that in theaters, and it was pretty fun. It was I like that 6 out of 10 movies exist. Like sometimes it's nice to just sit there and watch a 6 out of 10 movie. I'm like, this is fun.
You know, I know what you
and then I never have to think about it. You know, because I'm like, that was fun. And now I can go home.
Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick, yeah.
I don't know if I described that as a fun movie, but
like just
nice
a solid movie. Like that's okay to just have like a pretty solid movie and go about your day. Yeah. And then we watched The Woman King, which is Viola Davis, John Boyega. Yeah. That one's really good.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it, and I thought it looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, action looks good, story's told well. Maybe like the best performances of most of the people in it. Viola Davis is so good in it. John Boyega, I love his role in it too. It's a smaller role, but he plays like the king. Yeah, overall, really, really enjoyable. Maybe a little, like a couple minutes too long, but even then, I might have just been tired.
Perhaps.
I also realized I think I put the wrong date on my watch of that. I need to change that. Red alert.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Because I watched See How They Run in The Woman King, then I went to bed, and then in the morning I watched fucking Clerks 2. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing this week, because I'm getting the new updated booster shot is out, so I'm getting that on Wednesday. So, hopefully I'm not dying on Thursday. Yeah, so that's what I've done this week. I've been reading a decent amount. I finished the Plagueis audiobook. I think that was last week. I started the Death Troopers one, which is the zombie Star Wars one. It's okay. It's kind of bad. It's stupid as fuck.
It does.
Everything to do with like the sickness is pretty decent, and some of the character writing is pretty decent, but it's all just leading towards this zombie thing, which is gonna be ass. I'm like on like chapter 18 to like 44. I'm like, this is gonna be bad. But yeah, that's what I've done this week and last week. Watched anything else? Done anything else besides read Dragon Ball?
I've read Dragon Ball, and I rewatched The Brood.
Pretty good still?
Pretty good still. I think I liked it, like, less this time, because I'm more familiar with, like, a lot of his, like, little blemishes that will commonly occur in Cronenberg's work, so, like, a couple of those stood out to me this time. But overall, still very solid. Probably like my second favorite movie of his, because I think The Fly is probably better. But that movie's like such a well balanced picture, so it's like, yeah, okay. But aside from that, yeah, not a whole lot else going on.
All right, cool. Let's go to the Gmail.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if we got anything. No.
No questions about David Lynch this week.
No questions about 7 Hour. Okay, let's talk about it.
I watched this a week ago, so.
I did too, and I'm kind of glad I did. I wanted to kind of sit on it. And I also don't think this is a movie that you really need to remember every part of it. You just kind of need to sit with the feelings that you felt.
Yes.
Wow, I'm going to sound really pretentious on this episode. Did you end up watching it in a sitting or 2 sittings or what?
It was basically, it was technically 2 sittings, but it was basically 1 sitting because I watched 1 hour the first night and then I got tired. And then the next morning I was like, all right. And then I watched the rest of it.
I also kind of did the same thing, but that was because I didn't stop it purposefully. I was watching it, and then like serving the streaming service of Canopy, it just crashed, and I'm like, cool. Mm-hmm. I was like ready to. I was seated. I had my chips. I'm like, let's fucking go. Mm-hmm. And then so I got about an hour in, and then I started it from. I went back a little bit the next morning, so I'm like, I want to jump into the feeling in it, and I think I probably should have just started from the beginning because I feel like when I watched it the first hour, I feel like I was really getting into like a groove of it. I was like feeling it. You spent
15 minutes with the cows and you were immersed.
I did. I feel like I was, you know? Pierre, I should have had Pierre watch this one.
Pierre would have gotten 2 minutes.
He would have left. He would have left.
He would have either left or he would have pulled out his Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. But I think I watched, I had a poop break about 2 hours in. I did take, every time there was an intermission, so there were 2 intermissions, I did take about a 10-minute break. Yeah, because I think intermissions are good for movies like that.
Oh, yeah. It gives you time to process what you're watching.
And I think that has a really good, like, kind of reprieve, like you're before, or you just be super sad.
Yeah.
All right, so small Hungarian village, very poor during like the communism's fall, pretty much. So
yeah, it's like
they already were like stretched on resources because of like the Cold War and stuff. So most people were not getting enough food. But now, communism's over. Oh wait, now we don't have any resources because everything's fucked. So everybody's extremely poor. But they're getting like a payout or something from something. The government, I assume.
Yeah, they don't explain it very well. That was one of the things where I was like, kind of.
But I'm like, they're getting money for something. Yeah. Okay. So there's a bunch of people that are like conniving and trying to like, we're going to take it and run. But eventually they're like, no, we're going to stay because these 2 people that we thought were dead are coming back. And one of them is very smart and manipulative and everybody loves him. And he comes back and he's like, don't worry guys, give me all the money.
Yeah.
And I'll sort this all out. He's also already talked to the captain of the police and he's pretty much going to sell them out. So he gets all their money and he takes it and he convinces them to like leave this place. And then he convinces them to like go to all these different parts of the country or something like that. And then the movie kind of ends. If we're doing a super broad explanation of what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, because obviously there are parts where you dive in and you get to see like a bit of the people in the town.
Everyone's life. Yeah, I feel like you spend about like 40 to 50 minutes with every single person. Get a feel for their life and why they're sad. Why it sucks.
For the most part. Some of them are involved in kind of ensemble scenes like the bar.
Yeah.
Which, good scene. I love... Yeah.
I was messaging the group some updates as I was watching. I'm like, don't worry, guys. I'm watching a bar dance scene. It has been going on for 15 minutes. And then 15 minutes later, I'm like, don't worry, guys. It just finished.
Yep. Yeah, I will say this movie's not perfect by any means, but I do think I respect it because it's got. It's 7 hours long, but it really doesn't feel like it. Like I was expecting it to either be after that like cold open with the cows for like 10, 15 minutes. I was basically expecting for a second. I forgot what you told me the movie was about. I'm like, just gonna be following cows through wastelands for 7 hours. I was kind of excited. Yeah. I was like, is this it?
I was thinking, I'm like, what if like next April 1st, like I pick the movie, I think it's just called like Logistics, and it's like 70 hours of just like a car part or something leaving the factory and traveling across the world. And it's just like, yeah, we just wanted to film it because we thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, I forget the name of there's a movie where it's like literally just a room and it like slow pans out and eventually there's like a body and like a person walks in. They like call the police and leave and then it just keeps zooming out. It's like that for like I think it's only like 2 hours. I don't think it's like an absurdly long film, but it's like just that. So it's like, but yeah, because I think it does a really good job at not feeling like there's just a bunch of like dead space. Usually it's just like shots kind of go on long, but they kind of tell a story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of atmosphere going on. I love the soundtrack. There'll just be like, it's very scarce, but when it does come in, it's usually like, I think it's like an accordion, but it's like kind of recorded on like kind of a shitty equipment. So it's got like this kind of like
old time iffy.
Yeah, it's got kind of like this static vibe to it. Because I almost thought it was a synth at first, and then I saw the dude was playing the accordion. I'm like, oh, I think that's what it is. But yeah, I like the soundtrack to this movie a lot.
I do too. Yeah, in general, I don't think it feels like super long. I feel like I thought the Zack Snyder Justice League cut was much worse for a watch for me, like lengthwise. I'm like, same thing, it was easy.
Yeah, that one, I don't know, because like this one's kind of a minimalist plot, so it kind of works in like a slice of life type of way, whereas like the Justice League is kind of like a high concept, just average superhero movie, so the fact that it's just prolonged, it doesn't... I don't know. It doesn't lend itself.
There's nothing to feel, you know. Yeah. There's nothing to like look at. Look at
Aquaman diving into the water for 3 minutes.
There's nothing that is like symbolic of anything, you know? And that's fine if you want to watch a movie like that. I don't want to watch a 4-hour movie like that.
No,
I'd much rather watch a 7-hour Hungarian film.
Yeah. This movie comes across as a lot more, I guess, honest would be the term I would use, because it's trying to tell a more grounded human story. It's not trying to be stylistic, like the dialogue's not really dressed up. Like it's trying to be very like candid.
Yeah, this is Kevin Smith. What the fuck? Yeah, this is realistic dialogue,
right? But yeah, trying to think of like things to say. I will say my major complaint with this movie, I fucking hated the cat scene. Not a fan of that. I realize, because I looked it up, I'm like...
The cat's okay.
The cat's okay. Yeah, it lived with Bellatar the rest of its life or whatever, but like, it's still like, they were, I mean, more or less torturing that cat.
Yeah, it's
not a
rough.
Fan.
I think thematically, it is an extremely powerful like idea for a scene. Yeah, I do not think it was like needed to be shown.
No.
I think that like rolling with the cat, I was fine with. I'm like, this seems fine. Like, I think that if you practice with the cat enough, it would be fine with this.
Yeah,
I think putting it in the net was much worse for me.
Putting it in the net, there's like lots of shots where she's like trying to dominate it, so she's got like her hand around its like neck, and it's like the cat's visibly like just not into it, and it's just like it's a really rough few minutes of the film that exists. I think I would have much preferred they just like, because she poisons the cat in the movie, so I think I would have just preferred her going and getting like the bowl, and I mean, yeah, like then she like kind of forces its head into the bowl and forces it to drink, and that's it's a little hard to watch too. So it's just like, I think I would have enjoyed implication for that scene, but
that's fair.
The movie seeked to make me uncomfortable, and it did.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's completely fair. I think that I was warned about it like 10 minutes into me watching, because I was on like the Letterboxd Discord. I'm like, hey guys, I'm about to watch this. They're like, just be careful. There's a cat scene where it's really, really, like they really hyped up how brutal it was going to be. And so then it wasn't, I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, it's no Milo or Otis or anything like that, but, yeah, it's still just like...
It was unneeded. Like, you could have done other things. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, though, I really, really, really like this movie. I think as I've been thinking about it over the past week and a half, I think I've liked it more, too. Because I've really let the emotions I felt and the emotions that were conveyed, let them sit with me. And I do think this movie's pretty sad.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's about a people that have lost all their hope, and finally like scrounging up their last bits of hope to put everything into like the only thing they could possibly wish for is just like a better life, and they're just manipulated by like
this guy who's like
the money, like capital, just people wanting more money. And then it just ends with like, at the very least, they've lost all their money, but more than that, they're probably going to be like arrested for running away or whatever.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this girl dies because she's like mentally unwell, and nobody's like caring for her properly, and then she hurts her best friend, I guess, the cat she like kills, and then she's the only one who like she feels genuine sorrow and grief for this, and then that's immediately juxtaposed by Eremias or whatever his name was. What was his name? The guy who manipulates everyone.
Yeah, he basically shows up at her funeral and.
Eremias, and he feigns grief, like it's she feels real grief, loses herself to it. He comes in, pretends to have grief, and then steals everyone money with it.
And they all buy into it,
except for they don't even tell the one guy, the doctor or whatever.
Oh yeah, the doctor is pretty much just like a drunk, useless spy at that point. Like,
but at the same time, it's like he's the only one who like knows, like there's a known entity there. He knows he's going to die. He knows he's going to drink himself to death. Which, I feel like part of this movie is like maybe it's better to just die a horrible alcoholic through alcoholism than it is to like suffer through other people manipulating you. I don't think that's actually what the movie says, but I think it definitely says like to some people this is real. It
definitely poses the question. Because he basically just sits inside at the very end. He is a little active, more active than most of the characters in the movie think he is. Because like the very beginning of the movie, he's basically like kind of the book open, book closed kind of thing. Because the bells wake up one character, and at the very end of the movie, he goes and like checks out what the bells are. It's not really bells. It's like this kind of deranged guy like smacking a piece of metal, saying that the Turkish are coming, right?
Something like
which I'm not entirely familiar with any sort of history globally that went on between Turkey and Hungary, but I'm sure it probably wasn't good. Freaking what's it called?
And then he goes to get his alcohol, and he talks to those two ladies. But he definitely moves around a lot more than, and he sees this guy, Peter, I don't remember his name, but he is like cheating on, or he's this wife of this one guy is cheating on him with this guy, and the doctor can just see it out his window, and he's like,
it's very obvious.
And then he goes out to get more alcohol in the middle of the night, and that's when he encounters the girl with her like dead cat. She's like begging him to save the cat, and he's like, no, leave me alone, child. And then he like accidentally pushes her, and he feels sorrow, like he does feel remorse, and he tries to help, but she just runs off, and he wanders in the woods after her, and he falls asleep. And then she dies. Yeah, the scene with her die is pretty rough. Like the cat scene and that is just really makes you sad. It really makes you wow.
Yeah,
I feel like shit.
It's definitely not an uplifter, that's for sure. But let's see. I'm trying to think like more stuff to say about this movie. It's very much just kind of an experience. There's not a whole lot of like content within it, but it's more about how it makes you feel.
I do really like the repeating scenes through different perspectives. I think it can be like frustrating that the momentum of the movie is lost, but in kind of a good way. Like it feels like And they say it in the movie. They feel like nothing ever changes in this life. That like they just work to make barely any money to make enough food for themselves, and then they go to sleep and do it again. And then I feel like that is reflected well with the structuring of the movie by repeating the same scenes, but you don't even know it's the same scenes until like the very end of them when it's revealed that this was like no time has really passed. This was just saying these events from another person's perspective. So I like that. I like how it made me feel. Like it didn't. I didn't actually like. I'm like, oh, this, but I felt that.
Yeah,
I feel things when I watch movies.
Wow, good job.
Wow, good job, Leonard.
Yeah, because for a while I was like, all right, this is definitely not in chronological order, because I was like trying to figure out the movie, like kind of was like, yeah, they're back, the guys are back, and then I think it goes back in time to like before they fake their death, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe not.
No, I think when they're talking to the captain or whatever, or
maybe it's been.
I don't think it ever goes back.
Okay.
I think they're just returning when it first shows them.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, they fake their own death to try to like go off and do whatever they want, and also kind of start a little bit of unrest in this village, because they're these like strong young dudes and they should be able to do a bunch of stuff. And the person that eventually leaves with them is the kid that had told everyone that they had died. Who was, I believe he was the little girl who dies' older brother.
He was, yeah. And
he also feels like no remorse, pretty much.
He was also the brother of the two women that the doctor went to.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And he steals the little girl's money, too.
Yeah, he tells her to, like, go plant her money and it'll be like a money tree.
Yeah.
And he just takes it, yeah. So, he's a real piece of shit. But so is pretty much everyone in that explosives group.
There's definitely the, like, follower, that one guy.
Yeah. He really doesn't do much throughout the movie, though, does he? I don't even remember anything.
He just follows. He threatens to blow up a building at one point. They're like, we're going to blow this up. And they just leave. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with these guys? Yeah,
they do that. They secure the explosives, but I don't think that ever, like...
No, I think they're like, nah, we'll just go get money instead.
Yeah, that's like, okay. I don't blame... Yeah. I mean, it'd be easier than planting explosives and shit. They like go and talk to a guy, and he's basically like, "Yeah, I can do this, but it's no bullshit." And I'm like, I don't know, we like bullshit, so.
I guess let's talk about the bar scene, the dancing scene that is like 25 minutes or something. I really like dancing scenes in movies. I think they can evoke a lot of emotions that aren't just told through things. I think body language is really important in movies, and I think dancing scenes can be really good for talking about body emotions. And I think that scene's really, really good because the song that plays is like pretty much the exact same song for the entire time. But it also feels stressed and like uneasy by the time it's done. Because it's just a guy doing it. And everyone's just dancing and like kissing each other and drinking until they all like pass out. And it's just, I think it's maybe one of the saddest scenes in the movie, because it's like it feels uplifting at the beginning. It's like, oh, this is fun dancing, but it just keeps going, and it feels like, this is their only joy.
Yeah, and to the point that it's not even joy anymore. They just know they have to do this to keep going. Like it's.
Yeah, and then I mean, the little girl peers through the window before she goes off to like the doctor.
Yeah, and then and it's also sad knowing what these like things are happening. Like she's about to go die.
And then there's that sequence where like the guy on the accordion stops for a second, goes around because they're all like asleep, and he just finishes off all their drinks, and he starts playing again. And then he goes in and kind of tells you like what they're all dreaming about.
Yeah.
Which I like that scene. I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, no. Yeah, I thought the bar scene was really good. It's definitely like you get a sense that it's like their only sort of escape that they get, and sort of like they all look like they're having fun, but there's also kind of like a sadness in their eyes, and it's like that guy sitting with the bread on his head at one point. It's like that guy in the back who's like, he's like trying to tell a story or something the whole time, and everyone's just fucking ignoring. But yeah, no, I really like that bar scene. I think it's one of the scenes I really like from this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I feel like I like pretty much every scene. I like the scenes are pretty long. Like there is a lot of like dead air that makes you feel kind of miserable. Like part of it, you feel part of this community. Mm-hmm. You feel the suffering. Like,
yeah,
I think
that 7 hours there, so they were trying to get you.
Yeah, like I felt more emotion for people in like 2 hours, and then 7 hours spent. I'm like, man,
yeah,
fuck Jeremias. That guy's the worst.
Yeah, no, he's really a piece of shit.
But the thing is, he is really charismatic. Like, he is really...
See, I don't know. I had the... I was able to detect his shittiness.
Yeah, no, I was too. But, like, I get it. Like, especially for people that... And the thing is, they kind of immediately, as soon as he doesn't show up, they're like, he betrayed us. And I think that's the thing. Like, they kind of, I think in the back of everyone's mind, they kind of know that this is it. Like, this is the end. Mm-hmm. But they really have no choice. Like, they don't have enough money by themselves to do anything with it. Like, they have to pool together their money. Mm-hmm. And Jeremias is the most, like, worldly of them. He is the traveled one. He is the charismatic one. Mm-hmm. So even though they're, like, 95% sure that this is the end for them, they're like, we gotta do it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it's a sad movie.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. But yeah, Satan's Tango.
Yeah. A real bummer of a movie, but, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's worth a watch. I think I probably do want to watch this in a couple of years again.
Yeah.
Probably not anytime soon. 7 hours is a bit of a bit.
Yeah. I probably would not recommend this movie to 90% of people, but
if a 7 hour black and white movie about like collective trauma and depression and the loss of all hope and nihilism and the effects of the war of like communism versus capitalism. If that sounds interesting to you, then you'll probably think the movie's great.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty great, and like it's one that will live in my head forever. Probably, like I'll think about it. I'll be like, wow, it's a bummer of a movie. And I do really want to watch Bellatar's other movies now, especially because they're all like 2 hours. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah, cutting it short with those ones.
Like, there are scenes, like, I think the cat scene could have been done differently.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And I think, we could have had a little more cows. A little more of the cow scene. But I also think the cow scene's pretty good. Yeah. And I think it's thematically relevant, too.
Yeah, it makes sense because it's like leave at the beginning, because that's kind of like a big...
They leave and the villagers leave at the end. But it's also like these cows are like kind of just wandering. They don't really have a shepherd. And it feels like the villagers, they don't have an authority figure. Like, none of them do. So the first person that comes back with any authority, like Jeremias, they're like immediately just latch onto him, even though they know it's a bad idea. Man, that cat.
Yeah. But
hold on, I took a couple notes. Make sure I talked about everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, trying to think of anything else I want to say about the movie. Let's see.
I think in general, if I was going to say, like, I really, really like... I think all the villagers play an important part, but I think thematically I like Jeremias as a character a lot, and I really like the Doctor as a character because he seems to be the only one in the village who is, like, educated
And I think that goes like really well with this theme of like the more educated you are, sometimes it feels like the closer you are to giving up. Like he's past the point of like falling for this false hope of everyone else, you know?
Yeah.
To the point that they don't even tell him because they know he's not going to go with it.
Yeah.
And that he's happy to just drink himself to death. Not happy, but content to, pretty much. While Eremias is like... Also, he's not educated through, like, the arts or anything, but just from, like, living and starving and, you know. And I get it. Like, he is still one of those villagers. He did live through this, like, blight. He did live through this. But instead of, like, rallying around his villagers like a leader should, he uses that for his personal gain. And to pretty much doom them all to suffering and death.
Like leaders often do.
Like leaders often do.
Yes.
I do not think Bellatar is a fan of the government, probably. Depending on just seeing how the movie is, probably not a big fan of the government.
Yeah, I doubt it. But you never know. Maybe he's a big shill.
Yeah, he loves Biden, even though he does not live in America.
He's just like, oh, Biden, way better than Drumpf.
I want to read the book this is based on, because I think it's like 140 pages. Like, I think it's a really short book.
Yeah, probably.
So I'd be really interested to read it. I do get it, though, like, even adapting, like, a short thing like this into a 7-hour movie. Like, I get it. I'm like, yeah, I'd do it, too.
Yeah.
This movie, more than anything, though, really just makes me want to make movies, you know? Because I'm like, you can make a great movie for, like, no money.
You can, yeah, if you got the right ideas. And
like, look at, To Boldly Flee.
That's
so let's rank all the movies that are more than 3 hours, 3.5 hours that we watched on the channel. So, Zack Snyder's Justice League, To Boldly Flee, and Sátántangó, I think are the three, right? Are there any? Scenes from a Marriage and...
Amy and Alexander.
Yeah.
Well, those two go up top.
Yeah.
Probably this would be my third slot.
Probably, I would fucking hope so.
Well, I mean...
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, I was going to say...
I don't remember what you gave that. Probably not very good. Probably like a 2 or a 3.
I might have given it like a 4.
Jesus.
Yeah, probably To Boldly Flee, then Zack Snyder's Justice League. No, I'm just kidding. Probably swap those two.
I don't actually... Yeah, I think I would swap, yeah. Alright, yeah, so that's Sátántangó. I agree with Thomas. 90% of the people will not like this movie, but if that intrigues you at all, you probably will like it. If that sounds like something up your alley, I think it's a great experience, and I think I feel more cultured watching it, and I think that's important when you watch movies to get a bigger framework of movies in general.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always nice to broaden your horizons,
and that's why I like doing this podcast so much, because I feel like we broadened our horizons significantly since it started.
Yeah, no, I've got a list that's private right now, but it's like basically like high quality cinema, and a lot of the picks are things that like, you know, I wouldn't have watched if not for this show, like fucking Shenmue, Funeral Parade of Roses, like Dog Day Afternoon, Losing Ground, like a bunch of like just stellar Story of a Woman, like lots of just these great
just movies. Things I pick. Cool.
I mean, a lot of them. I mean, the other things on the list are things that I would have picked, like David Lynch and shit like that. But yeah, I just in general, I'm so glad I got into movies because, you know, I've only probably been into movies for like 5 or so years now. Mm-hmm. Before that, I liked movies fine, but like I'm glad I died because I feel like a better person. That's really weird to say, but like, you know, you get so much. I feel more worldly watching all the cinema from around the world and from like different points of view and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, because when you watch stuff that's beyond just like the four walls of Hollywood. You know, you get introduced to a lot of like worldly stuff that's a lot more grounded and can put you more accurately in like giving you a closer perspective of someone's point of view.
I just feel like in general, I feel more connected to the world itself.
Mm-hmm.
And even movies like this, I think, make me feel less nihilistic about the world because I'm seeing everywhere, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The Insult, that's another good one.
That's on that list. Yes.
I really want to watch Shenmue again, The Goddess.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
But yeah, I think you would give this movie a 7. I think this is a kind of a weird one to rate too.
Yeah, I think I'd give it an 8.
An 8, okay.
Yeah, I think you're probably sitting at like an 8.
I'm at a 9, I think.
Okay.
I think I started it at an 8, but over the last week and a half because it's really. And I think some movies do. You know, I think you need to let them sit.
Mm-hmm.
There are some movies that I watch, and I write a review right after I watch a movie because I'm like, it's fresh in my brain. I can talk about it. But then there are also movies I'm going to wait like 3 days on this. Mm-hmm. You let me soak in what I feel about it. You know,
some movies definitely require that though.
Yeah, but I had a blast.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a good movie. It's very well made.
Everyone should watch it.
I don't think everyone would like it, but
yeah, but everyone should watch it.
Give it a try. I think if I had to recommend a longer movie, I'd probably like.
I think Scenes from a Marriage is more.
Yeah, that's the one.
Plus, Scenes from a Marriage and Fanny Alexander are formatted in episodes, so it's less egregious to watch it in. But even this is formatted in 3 acts. Like you can finish it and be at an intermission and stop for the day.
No,
I won't be mad at you. All right, let's roll to see if I don't think it's a deep dive next week, is it? No, we got 1 and then your deep dive. So, what are we at? 4?
I don't remember.
But yeah, because we did. Yeah, so I think let's just do 5 and up, or 5 and below, and we do a thing.
Oh, I got
a 1.
It's a 2.
Oh, barely. All right, so next week it'll be 6 and below, but we didn't get 1. What are we watching?
Okay, we're in for a couple long ones.
Oh, okay.
They're not
5 hours.
Together, they're not as long as Satan's Tango, but I think you've seen both of these before.
Ooh,
double check. You haven't. You've seen one of them before.
Okay, let me open up Screen Weens real quick. The podcast.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, what is the first one?
The first one we will be watching is a personal favorite of mine, Barry Lyndon.
Yo, Barry Lyndon.
Yes. And then I've heard this one makes a good double feature with it. It's from a director I'm not super hot about, but I know you tend to like their movies. And that is Dogville by Lars von Trier.
Yeah, I do. I don't really want to watch Lars von Trier movies because he's kind of a piece of shit. But I'll do it. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I figured this is my last chance for Lars von Trier because I think Antichrist, when I watched it, I liked it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would like it as much now.
I will say, I've only seen 2 movies. I did like both the movies I've seen. I watched Melancholia a long time ago, and I didn't like it, I haven't rated it.
Was it him or Gaspar Noé that did Irreversible?
That was Gaspar Noé.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like that movie.
Did you watch Climax with us?
I did. Yes.
Did you like Climax?
I remember liking Climax at the time. I don't know if I would like Climax now or not.
That's fair.
I've got a lot more higher standards for those kind of shock type movies that try to do that sort of thing.
I think Climax is very good still. Well, I guess I haven't seen it in 3 years, but I think Climax is also
I think I'd have an easier time.
Personal things for me that's why I like Climax so much.
I think I'd have an easier time still liking Climax as opposed to if I were rewatch Irreversible.
Yeah,
which I don't even think. I might have given it a decent score at the time because I thought it was well made, but I wasn't super hot on that movie.
That's fair. I think Irreversible is a good movie. It's just
has that one really uncomfortable.
Well, and that's the whole movie's about that. So I think it's an incredibly uncomfortable watch. Mm-hmm. I feel like I need to talk to Gaspar Noé. You know, I need to talk to him and see, like, how he be in real life. Yeah. Because I think that would also dictate how I feel about that movie.
Do you have any siblings? Do they watch your movies? How do they feel about your weird incest thing that you incorporate in, like, every film, apparently?
Because I feel like there are things that I would put into movies
that are really horrific, too. Like, if I made, like, a drama. Like, I feel like I could... I'd be on, like, the level of Noé. Maybe not that far. Yeah. But I do think it's like, but it's me. I'm London. I love it, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think maybe Gaspar Noé's like that, but he also seems like he's a fucking weirdo. He's in a movie, or what was it?
Yeah, I always think of that clip. I think it's from, like, Bergman Island. It's like a big documentary where, like, a bunch of people are, like, a bunch of filmmakers are interviewed about Ingmar Bergman, and he's, like, in Ingmar Bergman's office, and he's like, yeah, I'm sitting in his chair. He probably jacked off here all the time. All over this office.
I know, I've heard Vortex is really good, though. That came out last year. And that's the main character's played by Dario Argento.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I've heard it's really sad, because it's the last days of an elderly couple stricken by dementia. Yeah. Oh. So I was...
Yeah, that sounds
I was
like
thinking about watching it soon, but you know.
Well, I wouldn't if you.
And I feel like I feel like
I might pick a Gaspar Noé deep dive eventually.
Oh, by the way, I'm just going to tell you now because you got this deep dive. Next deep dive I do, so November, we're going back to Lupin.
Cool.
Hinata keeps going. What are you watching more Lupin?
I'm down for more Lupin.
I'm being Lupin for Halloween.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Hinata is being Fujiko.
Ooh.
Joe's being Zenigata.
Oh, nice.
Pierre's going to be Jigen.
Yeah, there you go.
And you're going to be Goemon.
Go-y gone.
Got him. Oh. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We appreciate it. Go watch a 7-hour movie or go watch an 1.5-hour movie. Either way's fine.
Yeah.
Just watch more movies. It's good for you.
True.
Bye.